I'm lucky in that for me, writing for other people and writing my own stuff is like cross-training. You know, I really feel like it's been great that I've had these jobs, because the muscles have never gotten too stiff. And then if there's a long period of unemployment for whatever reason, like I wrote 90% of this big-ass book while I was on strike with the Writers Guild of America. And we had a strike that lasted about 7 months. And I couldn't write for other people. And so I could just kind of go do my own stuff.
All the time and every day waiting?
Not every, no, I actually don't. But I'm lucky in that it does, you know, it's like a gas. Whatever box it has, it fills that box. So I have written a whole screenplay in 3 days. I was working for Tom Rankin once, and I was brought in, and he said, "Okay, well, here's a screenplay as it is kind of a modern day martial arts thing. All the people are Chinese, but I can get to Shiroma for me. So I want you to change all the people in martial arts to Japanese." I said, "They're very different." He said, "Yeah, but I can get to Shiroma for me." And luckily, I'd seen a lot of samurai movies and done a little research on the other thing. But he said, "Here's the thing, is we have to get Scott Glenn to say, yes, he'll do it. And then the studio will give us a green light by Monday." This was on a Thursday. Because there's a Directors Guild strike coming up, and I have to start it before that strike starts. And unless we have a green light, they're just going to put it off. And I need this job. So here's this incredible director who's in his 50s at the time telling this little squirt me, I need this job. And I said, "Okay, well, I'll do it in 3 days." And I totally rewrote the script in 3 days. I don't recommend it. I don't remember any of it because it was kind of hallucinogenic to do it. I wasn't taking drugs, but...
were you jumping into the swimming pool? Is that when you would...
Yeah. I was in a motel, and I basically would write until I was falling asleep with the paper, go jump in the swimming pool, come back, and a couple times I even called the desk up and I said, "Would you call me in 45 minutes?" And I would sleep for 45 minutes and get up and do it. And I just left the script on the desk of the hotel, and called the studio and said it's on the desk of the hotel, and went home and flew back across and fell asleep. And when I woke up, Maggie woke me up and said, "Oh, the strike's been moved back a week. So now they're flying you to Tokyo, and you're going to do a second draft." Now, other things take me much longer, obviously, because I have more time. But I'm often working on 1 or 2 things at the same time. And I'm lucky in that truly I can sit down and say, "Okay, what's this one? Okay, we're in Tasmania, 1820. And then maybe later in the day, I have to actually finish something on a rewrite of something else that's a contemporary story in a totally different place. And 3 lines in, I'm in that world." That doesn't bother me. I think it's harder, I was saying before, most writers don't get to just write, and I'm really lucky in that I do, even though sometimes I'm writing for other people, or a lot of times I'm writing other people. So usually you're doing a bread job, you're waiting tables, you're teaching, you're whatever. And when I was first starting out and sending short stories out, I had various kind of jobs, and I found that when I came back from factory work, I was in a plastics factory, I was in a sausage factory, I could sit down right when I got home and write for a couple hours. So I was still awake and buzzed from being on the factory line. When I worked in a hospital and was dealing as an orderly with human beings, and people were dying and having crises, and you had to talk to them and all this kind of stuff, I was just too exhausted. Same amount of hours, but the emotional drain of working that kind of job just didn't go with being able to sit down and make stories up.
So sausage factory guys.
Yeah. If you can get that, a kind of mindless work, including mindless work where there's no sharp cutting edges, so you can daydream, it is kind of perfect.